And girls, small children of all ages, welcome. Welcome back.
The
JC, Ice
Eldora.
Range. How are you guys doing? Scorchman, didn't forget about you.
Doing great, doing great.
Lo-
Thank you so much, Reptar.
love the EX entrance.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
cool.
So we had a bit of an issue with the verification. Security's all nice and tight up in here, so we lifted the privileges. So we'll give
Who
it a
is it?
few
Rising
minutes.
Star. Is that a new
Yeah,
name? Wait. Is that a new? Is that your first win?
grats, grats.
Rising Star. You gotta let
So
us know if that's your first win. Outstanding. Congratulations.
love it, love it.
So since that's your first win, we should tell you that as a rising star in our community,
Yeah, yeah.
It's
anytime.
good.
Yeah,
See
do you
what
like
you
do you
did
like that? That was
I
so bad
did.
it was good. I got dad jokes for days.
there.
You have the option of anybody tonight who wins, except for maybe the last prize, we'll see. But anybody who wins a Rumble or any of the Twitch games we play, your options are going to be you can always take $5 worth of crypto. I've got a few in the bag that I can send to you. We can figure that out in your ticket. Your second option is going to be an Illuvium disc, which is for the one of the Illuvium games. It's a profile pick pack. It's like opening a pack of baseball cards, but it's got NFTs in it. Sometimes they're worth 5 cents. Sometimes they're worth $500. Don't know. That's up to you. Your third option is going to be a Serum City Pass, which is a land builder, city builder game where you can play and earn prizes and cash. And we've been playing that for over a year now. So, Rising Star, if you will, somebody hashtag support for him. And if you'll open a ticket, and all winners tonight, if you open a ticket, just let us know that you won one of the games tonight. We'll be keeping a tally of all our winners to make sure nobody's trying to sneak in and steal. So, um, but yeah, just open a support ticket and let us know you won, and we'll figure out what prize you would like, and that goes for everybody else tonight.
Awesome, awesome.
Oh,
We also
before we answer any questions, Range, do you want to do the disclaimer?
yeah, Range
Oh
gets to disclaimer.
crap! What is the? I forgot the disclaimer. Phone a friend. Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Ice, you want to do the disclaimer?
Well, we are a group of people, but if you think that you come into a group and you're going to take financial advice from random guys on the internet, you might be a moron. So do your own research in regards to crypto stocks and all that stuff and make good decisions on your own. We only tell you our opinion on what we're going to do. Doesn't mean you should follow what we do.
But if you do follow what we do, you are up. We are up bigly. So let's go.
Money wealth.
So we actually are going to be giving away some other prizes tonight, guys. JC, I'll get in contact with you after game night because I got a couple things I wanted to get to you. But we've played a lot of games here. If you guys haven't noticed, the markets are absolutely just tanking over the past like few weeks. And we had a
Except
nice
today.
little rebound. Yeah, we had a nice little rebound today. So those of you guys who bought the dip, you're feeling a little bit better about it. But we know that sometimes, especially now when the markets get really kind of crazy and people start freaking out, it's a good time for us to kind of not exactly step back, but just take some breathing room from what's going on um, in the bloody crypto industry. And we kind of really want to focus more on some of the games that we've been working with over the past few years, just to kind of distract ourselves a little bit from the greater markets. And as we've been getting back into a lot of these gaming projects, there has been a couple that have really stood out to us. And obviously a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about because we've been playing it a lot here in voice chat over the past few weeks. But Big Time has really taken off, guys. There've been a lot of updates. Obviously, as far as prices, a lot of things have gone down just like everything else. But it is still a very, very profitable game. And more importantly, it is so much fun to play in a group of people, getting a group of 6 together and just going through the dungeons. So this week we actually invited. Some of you guys already know who this is, but he is the one of the leaders of the VIG Guild over in Big Time. Big Yield, what is up, man?
Hey guys, welcome. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, doing well. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I think the overall market. I mean, you guys hit the nail on the head. The overall market's down, even big time's down. But yeah, it's been some exciting things. I mean, I don't know if there's specific areas. I guess the one primary profitable strategy there, other than gaming, having fun, has been like the time wardens. That's pretty much the center of the economy.
Yes, sir.
But overall, I think yeah, and the token price has actually surprisingly done well versus the open loot. I'm assuming everybody knows the whole ecosystem, how it funnels up into the open loot token and stuff like that. But
Oh no, we can get into that. We've got some people here that have never played
yeah,
Big Time before, so
yeah,
it's
no, it's a entire ecosystem, like kind of like an IMX, where they're launching multiple games off the launcher, and Big Time is the premier game. It's had massive amount of profits, like everybody said, and it's what they're basing a lot of the economies around. So all the other economies that will launch in the launcher will have a very similar economy, and we think that Big Time's been successful due to the economy, aka no early investors in the token. So there's no VCs, early investors to dump on you, token unlocks. I won't name any projects, but I've been in crypto since 2017, and it's the reason I pivoted to Big Time several years ago was because the token launches were fair launches, right? And it just made more sense to me. Not that the other programs can't be successful, but it's an untouched economy, because if you're going to have your token basically integrated directly into your game, and then you've already exposed that token to investors that are unlocking at certain dates, it just kind of skews the functionality of the token and stuff like that. So I think the platform that Big Time operates on, the economy that they've, still in early, they haven't public launch, nothing's official yet. They're still in test phase, but they have so many different token syncs, levers that they're able to pull. And that it's really been, I think, one of the most sustainable games. Certainly, we've had a huge dip. I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody's making massive amounts of money, and they're not trying to fool anybody, but it has been a game that's been around probably the longest, and the economy's still going. Time wardens are still renting. I think hourglasses were renting, and as the token price
Honestly,
increases, all
many
of
of
the
us, man, a lot of us have done very well in the past, obviously. But even
yeah,
still, I mean, a lot of the prices, like you said, they've gone down. But it is, like you said, the economy is still going and it's still
it is.
relatively profitable and fun, which is like a
Oh,
huge part of
without
it.
a doubt, this is the one game that our community has made, and I'm not exaggerating when I say a ton of money on, because we were able to get in. Like and Yield, you can talk about when you guys got in. We got in as a community during the Ruby passes, which were free. So we didn't even pay
Yep.
money to get into this game, and we were playtesting early, and we were getting box drops. And you see Range up here on stage; he actually got blocked from their Twitter page because he kept asking when box. Because we had these
When box
we had these
was
reward boxes for like
legendary.
a
Oh,
year, and
Yeah.
and
I
then it turns
remember
out
that, by the way.
they were worth anywhere from $50 to $2,000 once you opened them. It was like, good grief.
And that's
Yeah.
why he was like, when box, because he knew what was in those boxes. He wanted
And
them.
in fact, I got a legendary time warden out of one too, so I made some pretty good money off of that.
That's
Yeah, at
amazing.
one point those were upward of $3,000 at one point, so
I
that's
think
a
I sold
major
mine
pull.
for 1,800 ish. I don't even know where that money went, but yeah, I had it at one point.
But yeah,
I think we all
Big Time is the only
we all
game
feel
we've
that way, but no,
played
that's good to hear.
that has
Good to hear.
made consist. Like you said, the economy is sound. I think they've done it right, as opposed to other games. You talked about IMX, and specifically for us, the Illuvium ecosystem we're pretty heavy into. But their games look great, but their economy sucks. Whereas I think Big Time, the economy is sound. The game needs polishing, developing, and finishing and expanding, but the economy is sound.
Exactly, man. I think that's a really good point to bring up.
Exactly.
Is there's a lot of people that have parts of it figured out, but I think as far as a well-rounded experience, like Big Time really is, I would say, been around the longest and doing the most right now.
Well, here's what I'm excited about, guys. So, all right, where I kind of was going with that is, I don't know if Big Time is the, you know, is in the, like, to your point, the finished, polished version, both gameplay and economy. So you make a great point. I would say definitively everybody's aware, the gameplay can improve. There's a couple frictions like partying up and, things like that. And we can help, obviously the more people we have, and we'd love playing with Alpha Origins. We've played with you guys a bunch and we can't wait to get more back to that, and we think we're close, right? Because I think there's a couple features that are rolling out on the other games. Remember, I said a lot of the games on the platform will have a similar economy, I think, modeled around Big Time. But some of these other games are rolling out new features. So they have like the foundation of the Big Time economy, like no early investors on the token. There's typically, like, let's take Boss Fighters for an example. There's something called a showrunner contract, real similar to the Time Warden. You can recharge badges, real similar to hourglasses, if you see where I'm going with that. Now, not all the economies are, but like if you just take the fair launch token, no early investors, that across the board, every game that launches on Open Loop. But where I'm going with that is they are implementing some new features that we feel like they could have implemented in the Big Time. And so hopefully if some of these other games implement the features, whether it's guild features, like, right, one of that game's Boss Fighters implementing guild features, and there's like guild coins, and then the more we work together, the more better drops we get of these guild coins, and you can actually buy what's the equivalent of a Time Warden. And so the other games are implementing some features that I think eventually Big Time could look at all the games on their platform and pick and choose which of these to eventually implement, like what's working in Boss Fighters, what's working in World of Shards, what's working in, right? They have all these games are launching. They have a similar economy, but slight differences. And then if one of those differences works, I think they're in a position where they can just implement that into their economy because they have such a robust economy. And like I said, they have so many levers to pull. I do think it's probably the most sustainable. And if you all also understand, like, economies and how, it's going to be hard to pull a really strong economy out of a first person shooter versus an MMO. Like, going to be way.
Yeah. Oh, we lost him.
He gone.
No, that's a really good point he just brought up, though. One that I don't think like we talk about enough is for example.
I'm gonna check and make sure our Discord didn't just kick him.
Yep. No, I'm pretty sure we that would be awful. But no, I don't. I think the verification issue is fixed. But no, to his point though, that's a really good point. Like Off the Grid, for example. Off the Grid's getting all this attention right now, and their economy is technically not even really live. So what and it looks like a really good game, but the mechanism to make money for the gaming company and for the economy for the players, it is so much easier in something like an MMORPG than a shooter because you have all these resources and things that you can use. And yes, you can implement them in a shooter, but it just fits so much more naturally into a game like Big Time, where you have all these underlying layers to crafting and, all these different things. So it looks like he might have just died, like his thing. No, look. Yep, it timed him out.
What the crap?
Look at that. Yeah, here. I'm gonna go back in. Yeah, we gotta keep that off. Just let KV know that why it's off, and then I'll mess with it eventually. But because it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to,
Yeah, we're gonna figure that out. I'm just letting him know.
Oh.
Oh goodness. But yeah, there's a whole lot more you can do. I mean, a first-person shooter is great for maybe winning tokens or whatever, but you can have a functional economy in an MMO style game a whole lot better because you have items that people want to buy or sell for use in game. I mean, what can you do in a first person shooter that's not pay to win if it's not, I mean, other than that, it's just cosmetic. And it's like, okay, but there's not a whole lot of room for economy versus the MMO style. I think, that gets us, sorry, I'm just looking to see. Why am I not seeing the... I'll let you deal with that, and I'll just keep talking. That's annoying. That's probably been hurting our membership for the last 2 weeks. Or 4 weeks, or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like getting at earlier when I mentioned it, because it seems like it's too heavy. Like it's good because it's keeping all the bots out of here, but it's
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. That should be good.
Because I was hoping to hear more about, because VIG is actually a group of guilds, and they've got a lot of good stuff going on. I wanted to pick his brain about the other games in the open loot system, because they have taken a page out of the IMX Olivium system, where they have multiple games, or the Faraway system. They have multiple games across the same ecosystem that, while they may have their own individual playstyle and their own individual tokens, they have the open loot token, which is the overarching one, which you can earn in all games. Let's see. Ice, why don't you give us a classic bounty to give us something to watch while we're trying to figure out who we need to smack around in the Discord. What
Don't
Discord
threaten
bot?
me with a good time.
All right, guys, this is a classic Rumble, which means the classic era bounty is in effect. And thanks to our community here, the bounty tonight, Ron is the king of hot sauce. I will offer a hot sauce to the final winner tonight. No one has taken me up, and I understand you don't want to give some random dude your address, and that's fine. I totally get it. But if you do win the last game of the night and you do want a hot sauce, I can send it to you. But make sure you click the swords.
My address, so
Do what?
Same.
I've already given you guys my address, so I'd love a hot sauce.
Okay. Talk to me in the
Same.
admin chat.
Oh no, I'm gonna win it the right way. I'm not just gonna beg for one, because then it won't feel fulfilling if I win one after.
I was gonna pay for one.
I love that.
I would pay for one too, but I'm
$47 a
broke.
bottle. It's the greatest hot sauce ever. It's like the greatest.
I thought tariffs on Canadian goods were paused.
Hey,
Oh, but I got them before the tariffs.
Have you seen what car dealerships are gonna do? Like they're gonna implement the tariff pricing on their own cars.
They
after they're
say
already in the
that, but
country.
we'll see.
And I
Talking
was
about
like,
the
that's
tariffs
so
are paused.
stupid.
Tariffs are paused, guy. 90 days.
That's only for Canada.
Well, it's not. It's
Doesn't-
for a lot of places except for China.
Yeah.
There's
Everywhere
Ron's
except
official
China.
page.
Not like
China.
But we're not
Ron?
going to talk top politics anymore. Otherwise, Ron will take off, and we want him to stay.
Reptile, what happened last night after I left? You guys did another run, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we were up till like midnight doing runs, man. I got all the way up to I think like level
Shoot, that was collab. That's not wrong.
level 30 I got up to, I think. We were grinding last night, dude. Like I was just trying to get levels done because the higher dungeons we can do, like the better stuff we can get. So we're really
Ron.
trying to send everybody.
That was funny. All right, guys. So on the classic bounty, if you kill Scorchman with the old
Scorchman's already
python
dead.
in the sleeping bag, that is the bounty. Like regardless of
I
who
think
wins.
I'm already dead.
How are you already
Scorchman's
dead?
already
It's
dead.
round one.
Die.
Oh,
Nocturnal got him
bludgeoned him
bludgeoned.
to death. Sorry. You're gonna have to revive Scorchman.
Thanks, Knock.
But yeah, so never mind.
Reptar stepped on a Lego and died.
That happens.
All right.
That's it.
I
Right.
He's
It's okay.
back.
Yield, I think
It's
we
okay.
have it figured out.
All right.
Got
We
some
are
guys,
so
Casey,
sorry about
for
that,
being so
man.
ugly.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Honestly, like Yeah, this is like a new issue we've been having with the Discord. We
Just
kind
in the
of
last month. I don't know what Discord
Yeah.
is doing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so for now we're turning off the verification and stuff, and we'll just keep an eye out for bots manually. But yeah, it's
Oh,
been
you guys are
kicking.
getting botted, huh?
Yeah, well, not
Yeah.
even that.
That's how you know
It was
you've
just
made it, right?
yeah, right.
Exactly.
No,
There you go.
it's a precautionary thing also, but we realize that it might be actually keeping out legitimate people, obviously, because we know Big Yield's not a bot. Even though he's
I'm an
running-
AI bot.
Some of our poker players have had issues where they'll come in and they'll play. They'll be able to come in and play poker, and then they get kicked out,
Yeah.
and they can't create a ticket to get their winnings. So
Oh no.
Yeah, so we gotta figure that out. So we'll get it squared away. But yeah. Anyway, so where we left off, you had brought up the
Python.
rules.
oh wait
Python.
wait pause.
Oh.
Zaya. Scorchman revived, and Zaya slipped a python into Scorchman's sleeping bag. That is a bounty kill.
No way.
Rats.
Oh, congrats, Zoe. Zaya, let's go.
You know what?
So congrats.
That's one common time warden right there.
Nice.
That yeah,
We
you
made-
could use that to purchase a common time warden right now because they're below $50.
I'm thinking about stocking up on 4 or 5 of them and just maybe wait till the market blows up again.
I sold one common time warden at the top, and I got $1,000 for a common time warden.
Wow. JC, that was you? You absolutely nailed the top. You inked it, huh?
Like exactly on the top.
There we are. You might have just mic dropped that one and just left Web3 gaming after that.
Well, I mean, I have 4 or 5 more. That'd be nice. All right,
Nice.
Louis.
No, that's a
Louis.
great.
It's
great
our
buy.
winner for the game.
Yeah. So yeah,
just
guys. One thing, just to get back to kind of what you were saying, Big Yield.
Yeah.
You were kind of mentioning how it's a lot easier for these games, like as opposed to something like Off the Grid, like a first-person shooter,
Yeah.
where the economies are more organic and easier to build out in something like an MMORPG. That's kind of where we last got you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's more token sinks, more like levers they can pull as the economy heats up, steams off, right? But it's one of those things that I think, they'll continue to launch games on the platform, hopefully drive new users. And then some of those will circle back to Big Time, and then vice versa. And so the key is if they can build not only Big Time, but other sustainable games, there's like an entire ecosystem in which you can kind of, hopefully be able to earn money from multiple different avenues. And they also have those rentals. I mean, I think that's a key feature that a lot of other games are missing are the in-game rentals. So say I go on vacation, for 6 months, I can rent my gear out. Or if I go to college, right? Like do the Roblox example. You play Roblox for 5 years or Fortnite, you go to college or you go get a job, you can't play. Instead of like never getting to recoup any costs from your gear, you don't have to sell it. You can just rent it. And then you can keep, if you believe in the game long term, just for 3-6 months or whatever, rent your gear out, and then return back, and if the economy becomes more active. And that's what we see a lot of our players do. And if life takes over, they're able to kind of, I think, maneuver based on what they have for their assets. And we have, and not to get too long-winded, so I think you touched upon something great. You guys started in Ruby Pass, right?
Yep.
A lot of people join for free. We have one player, Gazawi. He was here last week. He's probably the most, I think, like one of the most best examples I can think of. There, maybe there's better, but he joined us, VIG, during that pass, got into the game for free, and then his portfolio at the peak was upwards of $50,000.
Easily. All you had to do was play a game.
Yep. No purchases. He actually entered. He's proud to say he basically entered the ecosystem and he ran it like a business. You can easily go negative too, right? I mean, not if you didn't put it in.
Easy if you're not paying attention.
Staying up to date, and that's why we created Dashloot. So we do have a tool that if you guys are interested in Big Time, we have a tool on Dashloot that is a charged hourglass finder, and it's an easy way to not have to make a large financial investment. You wouldn't have to craft the hourglass. You wouldn't have to buy a time warden. You can literally just rent charged hourglasses, and the tool we have allows you to filter based on like price per time. So you can get the best deal just by clicking a simple sort feature, which some of those features are not as good on OpenLoot. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that in case anybody's trying to get in on the cheaper end.
So can I sidetrack you for just a minute, and can you just talk
Yeah,
about
please.
VIG?
Yeah,
We've kind of given a little intro while you stepped up there, but talk about VIG and how you guys got together, how you started, what you do.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So JC, I think we've interacted a lot. Same thing, Reptar. Really was impressed with you guys, but we came in touch through BIGTIME, and I think it was just due to our presence in BIGTIME, and we originally came into BIGTIME before the first space sale. So actually at the first space sale, so December, like I don't know, was that 2021 or something like that?
It's been a minute.
And then so we entered. There wasn't even a game, wasn't playable. So all you could do is buy and sell these NFTs. So we created a portfolio tracking similar to a stock website that tracks the aftermarket sales. It's been a huge, I think, lift, but benefit to the community. So what it does is just gives people like that pricing history. And so we started with that because the first 3-4 months after the space sale, all you could do is buy and sell NFTs. And then the game launched, and we had about 30 people in the gold pass, which was, I mean, people were spending upwards of $3K for a gold pass. So
these were paid guys. If you were in our community and you got a Ruby pass, it cost you nothing. The original, the guys that first got in, they were paying $3,000 to play this game.
That's insane.
And it was clunky. I mean, it was a really early edition, but the hype that had been around this was, significant. And so we had a substantial number of gold pass. We absolutely had the, top number of gold pass holders. We launched silver pass. We had teams. I think we had 8 teams running silver pass consistently every single day. And so we really started in the early stages, and then Ruby happened. A lot of other gamers started coming in because you could get a free entry, and we've just really been trying to, I think, help what we feel is like integrate people into the game, because we honestly feel, and this is why I think Alpha Origins and VIG have got along so well over the years, is we feel like honestly it's not us versus it's not us versus another guild or like that. We think there's massive amounts of room in Web3 gaming, and the more we can harmoniously kind of, educate people and get more gamers active, then we feel like everybody wins, right? If BIGTIME wins or Illuvium wins, or right, there's more people that are in Web3 gaming and understand the concept for us to kind of, hopefully share the, the benefits, right? And so
definitely.
I think that's
100%.
a great point, man. It's funny because I actually had touched on this and something I had written recently for Alpha Origins, where we're kind of at a point where we're just waiting for real adoption of these Web3 games. Like, we're waiting for these big companies to kind of hop on board the bandwagon and just get people's attention, and because I don't think people are even aware that it's possible to make this kind of money playing games like this. You know what I mean? It's very early in its development. There's not a lot of games out yet. Even the games that are out are still, again, early in development. So it's going to be really interesting to see how things change over the years. And we love what you guys are doing, because we know that you're pretty heavy into BIGTIME in the OpenLoot ecosystem, but you guys are still kind of looking around at some other stuff that's out there as well.
We have one of the top whales in Nyan, so we're gonna Nyan Heroes, if you guys are familiar with that. Like, we have absolutely one of the gamers in our community is one of the top Nyan holders. I hold some Nyans too, so we're definitely looking outside the ecosystem, but again, that's another one where I'm not sure about the economy, because the token's already been launched, early investors, so it's a sit back and wait. And that's where I see the difference with these big time ones. So we're definitely testing the waters in these other games. Like I played Off the Grid. I love the game. Absolutely love it. I don't know how they're going to integrate it. And I think the gun token off chain, right, in the AVAX subnet that they're launching, I think is really exciting. But I think they kind of all can all make it. It's just like who's gonna get the ultimate recipe together, and how quick is it, and then who brings in the most gamers the fastest or causes that user adoption. And you know why, like, honestly, I love coming in here is because you guys do the macro economy, and I think that all ties together, right? The macro crypto picture as this legislation and all this becomes much more acceptable, like no more SEC and all that stuff, then I think the user adoption of NFTs and the use case becomes more visible to the average gamer.
Oh yeah, I think that's the like you mentioned, between our communities we have a lot in common in that we are all looking for anything that's going to work for all of us, and it's not, you get these people in the crypto space that are, Bitcoin maxis or ETH maxis or XRP maxis. I want everybody to win. Like I want us
Exactly.
all to be able to play video games and make a living. Like
Yeah.
I don't care. And is it gonna take, a AAA company? Is it gonna take GTA 7 or 6 or whichever iteration they're on to come in and find that balance, like you said, of gameplay that brings in everyone with an underlayer that people have no freaking clue about? Because let's be honest, mass adoption is going to be when people don't know they're using Web3 and crypto. But if
Right.
they can play a game and earn some money, and it's not, like I'm very, I try and keep an eye on things like you do, where it's like, okay, so what are the tokens like? Are they just, did they drop a bunch of tokens to their early investors so that they could dump once the token takes off? I mean, I understand making sure you take care. Shooter, congratulations. I understand taking care of your early investors. I know Big Time did that. The people that were buying $3,000 passes, they had more rewards for playing the game than I did as a Ruby Pass holder, because I didn't invest any money in the game. I invested my time, and I gained rewards for that. But I also understand that people who spent $3,000 for a gold pass, they got more, let's say they got more box rewards than I did. Cool, no problem. But what they didn't do is throw out half their token supply to their early investors so that we could all get dumped on. And that's, I worry about the games that do that. I understand it, but at the same time, if I'm not an early investor, I'm not making any money off of that. And let's be real, a lot of us, most of us are in this Web3 space because we'd like to make some money so we don't have to friggin' work 80 hours a week.
Yep. And I'll just give you an example. I know one of the early investors in Big Time, and they dropped a tremendous amount of money. I mean, a tremendous amount of money, like before the first space sale. They were a very large investor, probably one of the largest space holders. And they invested, but they didn't play the game, and they didn't, and that was key, right? So before the token launched, you had to play the game. They didn't just give a bunch of handouts to the early investors. So the early investors that bought a bunch of space but didn't play the game actually didn't get a token drop, if you want to believe that.
Oh,
So
I
these guys
remember.
spent, yeah,
There's plenty of
tremendous
guys
amount of
here.
money.
I couldn't play as much as several people here, and
Mhm.
I think I got one or two boxes, for example. But I
Yeah.
played probably anywhere between 10 and 20 hours during that time period. But people here were playing 50 to 100 hours. They got a whole lot more than I did, as they
Yeah.
should.
Yes, they did a good balance of early invest. So those early investors definitely still got a lot of rewards, but they did a good job of balancing that. And that's, I think, what you're getting at is
Exactly.
they didn't overexpose the economy to early investors, if that
Right.
makes sense.
And that's I understand that's a balance thing, and I also understand that any type of project, a gaming project, a business, it takes investment, it takes money, and people invest, angel investor, they speculatively invest because they're expecting a return, and I totally get that. But I think to date, Big Time has done the best job of balancing rewarding their early investors, but also rewarding the people that actually engage and play.
Absolutely.
And that's a big thing too, man. Like I like how you had mentioned earlier with the rentals. It's not a game that you have to sit there and spend 60 hours a week grinding every single day just to get something out of. Like, let's say you do go on vacation or you have a busy week or something. The ability to kind of rent out the assets and stuff is
Huge.
really just been amazing. Like you said, I don't see a lot of games doing that. And you had also mentioned, like, we're looking for a fun game that basically has everything all figured out, that's as polished as something like Off the Grid. We had that with Phantom Galaxies, and unfortunately, Animoca just didn't really continue, doing a lot of the things with it and funding it that a lot of us kind of hope. So we've seen even AAA projects fail before. So,
Yeah.
the amount of time that Big Time's been around to prove itself, and how the prices are with some of the some of like these are still selling for so much just because you can technically get any Time Warden out of them, and these are the boxes that Range was talking about. And guys, like $15,000 if you didn't open these. Like if you kept these sealed and are selling them, there's only 2 listed right now. And it's just insane because some of the prices on like even the Astral Time Warden.
It's $1,000 right now. It's $1,000, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In this
Yeah.
market, that's still crazy. Think
That's
about
a
that.
great price.
That's not even the highest rarity. That's like mid-tier.
That's
Yeah.
exactly why I use it as an example. Is it's just like this is a game that, and most of you guys, of course, like let's go to like the common even the rentals. Let's say for example, so like if you do a 30-day rental on let's say a rare, or we'll even do an epic. An epic's pretty middle of the road. And we'll do Warden. I think I got to search by that. 125 bucks a month, guys.
Click,
Oh, no, that's
click single.
Yeah, you're right. That's what it is.
No, up,
And that's crazy.
There you go.
One of those Time Warden boxes you were just looking at, it sold for 10,000 5 months ago. So like there's still, I mean, I know that's a while, but
Those are
this box
free.
came out
Those
four
were
years
free.
ago. Like,
Click the source.
yeah, this box is
Exactly.
almost 3 years old, and it's still selling for almost 10. That's amazing. I hadn't even looked at this in a while. Good call out on this one.
The thing
Yeah,
I
dude,
love
it's-
about Big Time, and I assume Open Loot is doing this, and this is something I'd love for you to talk about as we get on going, is the different games that they're branching out to. But the thing that Big Time has done so well is cater to all play styles. Do you like running around and running dungeons and getting loot? Cool. Earn some money, get some NFT drops. Awesome. Do you like crafting and providing items for people to buy or sell? Well, 20 years ago with World of Warcraft, you could craft something in game and get 10 gold. That if they caught you selling something for real world money, they'd ban you for life. But now you craft that thing that you're super proud of, like these freaking unique things that are selling for 30 grand. But you can craft something that sells for $2 or $10 or $30 or $100 if you like crafting. But if you don't have time, but you got a little money to invest, buy a Time Warden and rent it out, and you get freaking monthly income. Not like, oh, I get 10 gold for my. No, you get $10, or depending on the economy. There was a time where common Time Wardens were renting for $100, $150 a month.
it was insane, guys. And
You
honestly,
don't
the
have to
prices.
do anything.
If you've held on to your Time Wardens and not sold them, the commons have gotten pretty wrecked, to be honest, lately. But the rest of the rarities, all the way up from uncommon, they are actually more than what they were before. I mean, I remember when a rare Time Warden were like $1,000, but the prices have held up very well, and the rentals are still pretty lucrative. Like, obviously, so it's $40 for a common. So if you were to go to your rental, I just checked them, it's $10 a month you're getting from renting it
In
out.
4
So
months, you get your money back.
Exactly. And then from then on, it's kind of just
And
free
you don't
money.
have to do anything. You literally have to
Yeah.
do nothing in this game. You can just
And that'll
own an
change as the
asset.
token price goes up, the profitability on that. So right about now, if you dismantle with the common time warden, it's just because the token price is so down with the market
Sure.
that the rental prices are down. But as soon as that token price goes up, these prices on this time warden will follow that directly. So you can almost watch the chart of big time and know what these time warden, it's that closely centered around the token of the economy, if that
Yep.
makes sense.
And so if you like, and to your point, the reason you have a time warden, if you're not going to rent it out, is because you can do two things with that in your game. You can create hourglasses and sell them or use them, but those are items that help you in the game to earn more loot. Or you also get inside your little personal, I'm going to call it your personal apartment for people that don't play, but it's your little personal NFT realm, in like your own personal apartment in the game, and you get what are called cracked hourglasses, and you can dismantle them for big time token. And like you said, since the token is not super valuable, a common time warden will break down a common cracked hourglass. Imagine that. But those right now are giving you 5 big time tokens. Well, right now big time tokens 5 cents. Big time tokens peaked out about what, 78, 79 cents? So
Exactly.
if you get 5 of those, you're getting almost $5 per breakdown, and you can break down one every 6 hours. So
And that's kind of part of the reason that the rentals are so down bad right now, guys. Like obviously, so like right here, 60, $70 for the 30 days on a mythic. Like that's actually really low. I mean, we were renting out commons and uncommons for hundreds of dollars, but
dude,
the reason
we
is
were renting out greens for $250 there for a while.
exactly. So kind of like what Big Yield said, right now things are a little bit cooled down. It is still really expensive to purchase the higher rarity ones because there is so much utility behind what they actually do, and there's the passive income play with it too. So this to me is one of the coolest NFTs that I've ever like had in my wallet, just because it's like it is so flexible with what I can do. And like for $44, that's a pretty solid way to get into the ecosystem and like figure it out. But then like,
Well, to give you
once you
guys,
start.
I'm sorry, Retro, I don't mean to interrupt here, but I am
Oh,
going
go
to
ahead.
say,
No.
to give you guys an idea, the cheapest I've ever seen a common time warden is $36. The cheapest ever in the 2.5 years I've been involved with this game. The most expensive I've ever seen a common time warden, I think, is $1,100.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was around
And
1,000.
that was not when the token was at 70 cents. That was when the token was at 25 cents. But there was a lot of people playing. There was a lot of demand for the time wardens. There was a lot of demand for but a common time warden, you're we don't give financial advice like the disclaimer said. But the downside on a common time warden is $8 from 44 to
And its
36.
ROI is 4 months. So regardless of anything, even if you don't play the game, 4 months you ROI. But it's not, the whole point isn't to just buy a bunch of time wardens and rent them out, because that's what a lot of people tried to do. And that's why we're
That was
seeing a
good
lot
for
of
a
the.
while. I
It
think
was, yeah, and people love it. But if you take these hourglasses and you go into your space, you're getting these hourglasses dropped for free for you in your personal space. That's what it's called. I love it, personal space. Um, so basically, you can dismantle these hourglasses for the token, and that's what the Time Warden is essentially letting you do. It's letting you dismantle the free drops that you're getting and convert them into tokens. And I am gonna start a marbles here in the chat in a second, guys. But if you guys are looking into getting into big time, there is a lot to learn. I know it's kind of like information overload, but it is a pretty simple ecosystem, and there's a lot of opportunity for money to be made. And obviously, most of you guys know on Tuesdays and Thursdays we're in the chat here for our big time event. We're going to be playing with Abel and some other regulars that we have. just kind of going through dungeons and just grinding things out, and just really trying to show each other what the best way to play, how to play the game and actually make money playing it. Because like most things, if you're actively participating in the ecosystem, you're probably gonna earn more money than if you're just renting out your spaces.
And guys, I posted Vast Impacts Gaming. That's VIG, is Vast Impact Gaming. Their Discord link is right here in our chat right now, and it's also in our partner links. If we're not playing, check their Discord. There's someone in there playing all the freaking time. We cross pollinate. If I check there, if I come here and I tag people like, hey, who wants to play Big Time, and nobody's playing, the next thing I do is switch over to VIG and see, is anybody playing over there? Where can I partner up? Because that's half the fun of this game, is getting with other people, chatting on Discord, and goofing off and having a good time.
Yeah, we play with a couple of guilds. We play every Sunday, and you guys are more than welcome to join us too. Big Time Warriors, some of the guys from there, and we've met them in person. Like we met them at F Denver, and it's just we laugh and joke. And they're not in my guild, and we sit there and we make fun of each other, cat funny, like in a joking way. That's how. That's the kind of relationship. Like they can make fun of me, and it's like that's how much we enjoy playing with them. Is these are our friends. No, no, but like for you to make fun of another guild member, you better really be friends, right? Like,
right. Oh,
absolutely. But it's that kind of relationship where they join us every Sunday and we're laughing and joking, and it's literally as if there's no guild lines on things like that. And it's really like we're kind of sharing knowledge. We do, and there's other game modes. I think we haven't talked about this, but there's it's mainly a PvE, player versus environment. That's where the crux of the game started. But recently, as of last year, they launched a PvP. And a lot of people aren't familiar with PvP. So even if you played Big Time a year ago.
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying join us on Sunday. We always end with a PvP. Anybody that hasn't played, we can talk strategy, kind of, you know what I mean? Because there's different strategy. You can kind of there's an end zone in the middle that you can rush the zone and take it and hold it. And if people, we can talk strategy and all that good stuff. But if you want, every Sunday around, I think it's 12 Eastern, we have a link in our Discord as well. But, guys from Big Time Warriors will join us. More than welcome. Alpha Origins. The more the merrier. But we have that dedicated time just so that everybody hasn't experienced the different game modes. And we're trying to really just introduce people. So it's not competitive. There's no even though it's PvP, we are laughing and joking, and it's all fun games. So absolutely, if anybody wants to join us, please do.
Yeah, guys.
Absolutely, man. And you know what I'll do is I'll probably create an event tonight in our Discord just to let people know that are in here that might have missed it this week. That Sunday is at 12. If anyone's looking to hop into a game, that you guys will be over there, and I can put the link to your guys' Discord.
And here's why PvP is cool. Everybody starts at the same level with the same gear. It's not like I've been playing the game for, a year and I'm level 35 and you just entered and you can't enter the same dungeon as me. We all go in the same dungeon, regardless of how much you grind before that. We all have a level 10 pocket watch. We all start with the same, and then you got to level up from there. And that's why it's truly
nice.
For people that have never played the game, it's a lot more welcoming because it's not like somebody's overpowered.
Sure, you the only advantage is your knowledge base, not your gear.
100%.
Love it. That's cool. DJ, welcome. Glad to see you, my friend. So Yield DJ is our resident TA guy and DGen leverage trader and all things technical analysis.
You can't just straight introduce me as a DGen.
Why not?
But I get it. Thank you.
I take that crown. I'll take it.
Right, there you go.
Lauren, congrats. Is that another new first winner? Lauren? I don't know that name.
Love it. Congrats. DJ, thanks for taking the time to join us. The markets are bleeding out yesterday. Everyone's freaking out. And now here we are. We're up 15% across the board. I mean, why are the markets playing with my emotions right now?
It's just because we don't know if Trump's, pumping back the market or we're in the absolute midst of a Trump tariff chaos, right?
Like seriously,
So I'm going to assume
did
it's
he
still the
literally
latter.
just like we're gonna tariff everybody, and then like the next day be like, okay, we'll just do 10%. We like everybody now. Like what on earth?
Yeah, I don't know. And then the Fed's coming up, so I think Trump's trying to, shave kind of what the Fed's going to do.
Ooh,
And
do
if the
they
Fed doesn't
drop
come
rates
out with a
tomorrow?
dovish, I don't know, no.
Okay.
But if he doesn't come out and sound dovish, we're gonna freak out again and probably plummet right back to where we were and fall off on the SPY and go
90
straight back
days.
down there.
90 days, guys. We're gonna
Um,
play some marbles in the Twitch chat. So we'll keep talking.
yeah, so I
here.
think there's gonna be a big move either way, of what's gonna happen. Is the headline shifted? Is the sentiment for the day now bullish now after the VIX too? I like all the VIX, and the VIX is flying up and bouncing around here. So like the volatility is pretty crazy in the market still.
Well, let's point out that
And it just ripped up today too. So
if you bought, the pump October through December, you're in bad way. But if you've been here in crypto or in our community for the last year and a half, 2 years, and you bought anything, you're still not down. Like whatever market manipulation is going on, if you've been here in the crypto market for a year and a half or 2 years, you're not down.
yeah, and I don't think this is a bad spot to add or buy. Still, if you rather this big huge pump here, because you could fall right back down. Big tech jumped up today, AI jumped up, Palantir was up 20%. Huge moves all over the place. Nvidia just ripped. And crypto, started to move back green. So yeah, I think tomorrow's interesting. See what the Fed says. Does he spark a panic move? We pull back again, or do we just keep moving higher? Here was at the bottom of the V. We start going into a big fast recovery. So a lot of stuff to watch at. A lot of volatility in the markets, which usually means the relief, is still in play, but we're way above, the 30 on some of these things. So, and the fear is like peaking, dude. It's super low.
Oh gosh, people are like crying. It's so funny to watch people in the traditional markets act like they're in the crypto markets. I'm like, yeah,
right. When people are crying, you should be buying. Is the thing, right?
What are you whining about? Stocks are down 4%. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, if you go back, I mean, if you just put your money in the S&P 500, you're still up like 90%. Yeah. So it's not a big deal, but yeah, people and the CPI could easily flip, yeah, into what they call the sell the rip, right? So is this right here with a big rip, right? You just gotta watch like what's gonna happen. Are the big hedge funds gonna sell their money, or are they gonna be like, oh, there's a hit of hopium, and then retail comes in. So this is where you watch the big money, see what happens with the CPI.
When did Warren Buffett
see what
sell
the
all
Fed
his
says.
crap?
I was gonna say I want to keep an eye on Warren Buffett.
He
If
sold
starts
what, like
buying
5-6 months ago, waiting for this, knowing it was coming.
He sold. Didn't he sell right before
Right.
DeepSeek? All that stuff.
Maybe, I can't remember.
But if he starts
yeah,
buying
that's
back
all.
in,
That's all in there. But the VIX looked better in the afternoon than it did in the morning. So there's volatility no matter what. But you could change everything tomorrow, and then the March CPI report comes out, obviously. So I have a chart here I took of the CPI report.
Guys,
I'll put it in the chat.
If you're not in the Twitch chat, we're gonna play some marbles, which is another RNG game. There's nothing. It's not a skill-based game. But click the Twitch link there. We'll give you a chance to get into that. And in the Twitch chat itself, where it says send a message, you just have to type !play, and that will put your name and a marble on the thing. And it'll race through, and whoever wins that will be just like winning a rumble. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, and you're gonna win. Yeah. So that's awesome. Am I still going? Okay, yeah. Yep. So this is the thing I put in here, the CPI report, and this is what's going to come out, and this is what the market wants to see. They want to see CPI come in, around 3.5, and they want CPI to be at, 3.7, maybe softer than last month's 3.8, just a little bit of, core inflation. But if it comes in hot, what's Powell going to say? Or if it's a softer read like 3.6 or something lower, it could absolutely give the Fed some breathing room. Maybe they don't have to cut right away if it's intentions to bring rates down, right now with the futures rate. So I think it's going to price into 1 or 2 cuts, and that's still down from when they were saying 3 or 4 cuts is what they wanted to see this year. So they're expecting 2 cuts now, and just a few months ago, So you got to watch the 10-year, which is falling. And I'm going to post a picture of the 10-year in here so you know what this looks like, so you can watch it. And this is the 10-year chart. Yes, not BTC here. Boom. And that's the 10-year treasury. So if that breaks above 4.5% after the CPI comes out, you're going to know which way the market's going to break, right? So is there going to be another sell-off in growth stocks? People are starting to sell into the rip, or just throw, Trump post the next way. Where's a de-escalation in the market saw? Maybe they rejected to the bullish side. And then you could watch, for a move to go up. But if you watch that in conjunction, with the price action, and you can kind of tell if it's a sell the rip moment, or do you want to leave it positive and take a rip up 90% in the last 5 years, like I said. So right here, if you want to put 100K in a market and in 5 years have it be 195K, you should just do that, but you can see in a short period of time how much money can multiply fast. So I think people are starting to gobble up the dip a little bit. They're showing retail buying is coming in. So but if Trump's tariff pause gave the market a simple sugar high, right, and just pumped money into the market today,
Let's go.
they're still not loving the CPI, right? And China too. And they have the hot tariffs real high on China still. They didn't lower them at all. Trump raised them actually.
Yeah.
125%. So that was crazy. But yeah, watch the 10-year, watch the CPI.
I am getting tired of winning. I am getting tired of winning. That is for sure.
Oh, I see the memes about the winning. Like, how much tired? How tired are you of winning?
I just post the guy in his computer. He's starved to death. He's all skinny. He's too much winning.
Yeah, too much. Yeah.
The charts behind him are all red.
Can we just Ron? Open your ticket there, but you've got your choice.
Did Ron win? Ron won.
Ron, do you want a hot sauce? I'm just kidding. Ron,
you won your own hot sauce.
If you don't know, official AFN boys, run down Ron. He's got his own project right now called Soul Pussy, which is making fun of Donald Trump's earlier comments from his first. It wasn't from his first election, but it came out during the first election about him being like, "Oh, you're just gonna grab about a pussy," and yeah, so Ron is making fun of that, and his artwork is hysterical. But Ron is also the creator of the official Alpha Origins limited edition hot sauce. I have 3 flavors of hot sauce here, and yeah. Ron makes a lot of hot sauce, but these are legit hot sauces, guys. He made 3 different hot sauces. I have 2 boxes of hot sauces from Ron, and they're freaking delicious. They're the greatest. Even the Donald would say they're the greatest hot sauces to ever come from Canada. They're probably the best. Everyone says so. It's the best sauce ever. Yeah, they are delicious. The peach habanero is my absolute favorite, and my kids like it. My wife, who does not like hot, spicy things, loves the peach habanero. So there you go. Plug for Ron's hot sauce. In fact, for our last night, our last game for and Ron is not a Trump fan. Our last game for the night, if you win and you want a hot sauce, I will send you a hot sauce. But that does involve you. You have to send me a mailing address. So. I understand people don't want to do that. That's cool. But you will have the option of the hot sauce. I got to get a bottle of this stuff somehow. DJ,
I think we need to give away a Time Warden tonight. I think I'm gonna.
Now, yeah, I will say this about the Time Wardens: it's more expensive to send one out to my wallet to send to someone than it is for them to buy one. So maybe we'll just we'll just give them the money to buy one.
Yeah. And if you guys don't buy one, we'll know, and it doesn't matter at all, because
it's your prize. Do whatever you want to do with it. We don't care.
You might be better off. So, but yeah. So we'll do. I know we didn't do a lot of games as we normally do tonight, just because we had a lot to talk about. But we'll do one more Marvel. For this, or we'll do a couple more games. We still got time. It's still early. We've got 20 minutes still.
Tesla was up 25% today.
Play with him.
Nocturnal in the Twitch window.
In the Twitch chat, guys. Here's the Twitch link one more time. And there's the Twitch link if you need it. Haha, I beat you ice. Too slow. Ron, I will get you a friggin' warden.
You
I don't
got
care what
me.
happens. I will get you a warden. Just send me something. For those hot sauces, I'll get you a warden. But guys, in the Twitch chat, !play.
Let's go, guys. Yeah, and
here's what we'll do. On the last game of the night, we'll give away a time warden, or we'll give you the cash to buy a time warden if you want one. You can do whatever you want to with it. But if you are a holder, if you have the holder role, Coriel, you need to go verify. If you have the holder role and you win, I'll also send you a hot sauce. How's that?
Let's go.
Totally want to win now.
Yeah, look at that. Coriel's got a fishy. He's a survivor.
Let's go, verify. He's like, I'm doing this quick.
Yeah, Cavi, we'll have rumbles here in just a minute. We're gonna do another marbles, and then we'll do some more rumbles.
Yeah. All right.
Man,
and
Ron,
the odds have never been better, guys. This is probably the smallest game night we've had in months, and so your odds of winning tonight, guys, are
we had 29 in the audience earlier.
Let's say normally we have upwards of 50.
Yeah, people pop in and out. I've been noticing, but
totally,
yeah, right
totally
now, guys, your odds of winning are pretty good. So let's get it.
Ron, that sucks, man. I'm sorry.
DJ, that's one of my favorite emojis. Literally.
So, Yield, can I ask you for some descriptions on? I have not played anything in the open loop ecosystem besides Big Time. Can you just kind of like I've been meaning to get in, and I know you guys play all of the other games, and I want to get in and watch you play, but it's been kind of slammed. I got 2 kids, and it's kids activities are a little crazy.
You make a good point. You're gonna have to pick and choose. I'm similar boat. Even if you have all the time in the world, you're probably gonna have to pick and choose which game. So I can't pretend to know every game.
Sure.
But I will say there's a lot of interest in a few games. There's a brand new game, and so I'll talk about maybe the ones that I'm most familiar with. So Boss Fighters is probably the one that I'm most familiar with. We actually have an official partnership in place with them, and I would extend the same level of openness to sharing info and whatever resources. But this one's really unique, where they've implemented features that I've always dreamed about in Big Time. I talk about this with all sincerity. I'm on player council in Big Time. Like, I actually test the game, the patch, before you guys ever see it. I would never reveal anything early, anything like that. So I've been pretty integrated in Big Time. I make recommendations. I hear complaints, things like that. So, and there's always these different theories and hypotheses and what ifs, right? They've been ever since before there ever was a game. And I think and that's where I was going earlier, but I'm glad you asked. Now I can elaborate a little more. Some of these other games are implementing some of those various features. And Boss Fighters has implemented a couple of really unique features. And so if anybody participated in the Big Time crafting, you know that you craft up from common to uncommon to rare, and you can craft the items, whether it's a weapon, a cool weapon, like a mythic weapon, and it costs Big Time tokens and things like that. But there was always okay, what's it for? Other than a flex, right? And for a while it was to get into the PvP portals, but as the token price drops, some of that has really the value of the NFTs have gone down, and there wasn't inherent value driven. And in Boss Fighters, they're actually the crafting. The reason you craft is you're actually attaching both power perks and value perks, and you have to spend both Boss Fighter tokens and but it actually gives you a reason to craft, and you're having to burn a lot of tokens to craft up. But if you craft up, you're able to basically hold and save, whether it's a legendary Boss Fighter token drop as a value perk, or whether it's a critical hit damage on the power perk. And you get to choose whether you instill any value, no value whatsoever, just continue to craft up, or you can make a financial decision to increase the value of your NFT by choosing to hold some of these either power perks or value perks. And you can either get them at random by just choosing to crap, or you can roll, like by chance, keep rolling. And obviously there's a, you know, a way that they control that. You can't just endlessly roll. It costs like in-game variators. You only earn so many. But the bigger point here is now I have a transcendent railgun. I have an exotic railgun. I have an exalted railgun. So you know the rarities. Like this is right
Yeah.
below unique.
Goodness.
And we've been crafting in VIG like you can't even imagine. Some of our guys have really high-end gear. And we'll end up renting these out at a severe discount to our friends. Wink, wink.
Hey, are they still doing like you can
Yeah.
place a rental, but you can put like a discount code that maybe you can slide to somebody?
No, they
Did they do
did
away
away
with
with that feature on the platform.
Because that was
I don't
such
know
a good
why.
idea. We were going to use
Yeah.
that for our community. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you know, congratulations, you won, you know, this event at game night, and you know,
Yeah.
we're going to let you rent out a mythic time warden, and where that's normally $600 a month, you know, we can give you a 90% off code that's unique to you.
Yeah.
And
That's why we were hoping for guild features. We thought that early on. That's why VIG formed. We thought that would all be integrated. We still hope it will be, but you're spot on right there. And we just don't want to risk it to the open market. But we
Yeah.
are, you know, it's not as on the rentals. It's not like as much as the sniper situation on the sales. If you know, so we actually are doing discounted rentals. The minimum's like $10 a month. We've been hooking up any new gamers. It's so unique. They've already implemented guild features into Boss Fighter. So now we have up to 100 spots. We have plenty of spots open. And likewise, like I said, we would extend it to you guys. We have an official partnership with them. So there's only like 8 guilds right now that can do this. But because we have an official partnership with them, we have guild features that allow us to pool both of our gaming hours played. Like we have guys that have no assets whatsoever, but that play time contributes to our guild multiplier. And now we're starting to get what are guild coins, which we can then buy what are basically the time wardens from the guild store. And so literally we just got our first drop, and everybody that was participated basically earned a free time warden is what just happened. And so
Nice.
yeah, and the more that we increase our gamers, this multiplier grows. And there's like all the way up to exalted time wardens, and then they call them contracts, but we're seeing the guild features implemented. And so it's really, really cool. But back to big time, you know, like some of those rental features, we were always worried about cheap discount rentals, but in this case, we're able to kind of like, or somebody like sniping it off the market. In this case, we're able to kind of just do a quick, as long as the 2 people are in voice chat, I just send them the quick link. You know, it's very minimal. So that's how we're giving severe discounts, minimal price. It's, you know, I think $10 a month is the lowest thing you can possibly do. But we're giving them opportunities to run around with like exalted, transcendent, or maybe not transcendent, but like exalted, exotic gear. And this directly impacts your drop rate in game. And we're now actually earning tokens. And the token isn't tradable on chain. You guys are very intelligent here. So it's not tradable on chain, but it is tradable on the open loop platform. So it's a closed test net per se.
Okay.
And so the economy is basically active. As of this week, they kind of put their earning on hold a little bit just till they do TGE. They're trying to temper or turn back the token supply. But if this is something that interests anybody, we have a tremendous amount of really high rarity gear that we have no problems renting at bare minimum discount, because it helps you and it helps us, because the more players we have playing, it goes towards our playtime. And it also helps you because the more assets we own, which we own massive amounts of assets as a community, it also increases the multiplier. So right now our multiplier is off the charts. So yeah, that's been exciting. World of Shards, we have some players that are playing that, completely different mechanisms. I think they don't have like, I'm not sure if there's like a time warden essentially, but that's where it's been an easy transition for a lot of our big time players and the boss fighters. But those two other mechanics I'm talking about are like the guild features and the value perks, which increase your token drop rate in game, are directly tied into the craftables. So it actually drives the inherent value to the craftable item. And so some of these items are selling for a really good price, and the token hasn't even launched yet. So they're saying TGE in the next 2 to 4 weeks. I mean, timing is perfect, guys. Like, couldn't hopefully inform some people, at a better time. And again, we're in a really good position to help people because we have a partnership. We've been earning assets in game for many, many months. Some of them through the partnership, some of them through our own, investment, and we got contracts we can rent. I mean, literally, which are basically these time wardens we're talking about in big time. We can rent all the way up to, we would want the more participate, the more hours you put in, the more you pull your weight. We can give better incentives. We're really going to try to incentivize some of our gamers and or our partner guilds. We have high-end contracts all the way up to Exalted. And we have gear that actually allows you to earn flex. Now, what is flex for our big time friends? That's time crystals. And so unlike big time, you can't put on gear and go earn time crystals to charge your hourglasses, but you can do that in boss fighters. I don't know if that was clear, but really unique mechanics.
It's just amazing to see like all the success of all the different games in all these ecosystems, because that's kind of what we always look for, is we look for these projects that are not just singular games but have entire ecosystems, because those are the ones that we feel like are going to survive, and that can survive. If one or two of the games fail that are in that ecosystem, it doesn't hurt the project. Like, it does a little bit, yeah, but open loot can still go on as an entity, let's say, if Desolation doesn't work out or one of the other games. So the fact that they're adding these new games and ecosystems and economies to all of their existing stuff that they have with Big Time, it's a really good sign to me that open loot is a strong ecosystem, basically.
If I can just add one more point, because I don't want to talk too much, guys. You guys have an amazing
That's
show.
why we're here, man. We just
That's why you're here. Is
All
because
right.
you have all the alpha that we don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man, we
I'm
love it,
actually
dude.
behind too. Go ahead. So the last point I want to make. So through all of this, we've realized that Big Time is really good at raising money. Right? They have done box sales. They have done. They sell time crystals, and I mean, my best estimates, when Big Time was cranking, they were making millions of dollars a month in time crystal sales alone. So this studio has massive amounts of money from the first space sale, second space sale, all of the box sales that they've had. Right, we've talked about people making lots of money if they were early investors, and along the way, like the gamers, we're certainly profitable in many, many ways. But also, they've made sure they've filled they have a war chest ready to go for many, many years as a ecosystem, the open loop ecosystem, with Big Time being the flagship. So some of these other games, they're going to vet them. They'll build all of the ecosystem around Big Time in open loop. But as far as like them coming and going, I don't see that anytime. They have, I would guess their burn rates 5-10 years out. I would be surprised if it's anything shorter than that.
Ladies,
And that's the
gentlemen,
thing.
this is going to be our last rumble of the night, unless one of the team members wins. But click the swords. If you win this rumble, which is an aquatic era rumble, if you win this rumble, we will send you enough crypto to buy a common time warden. You don't have to. You
Yeah,
can do whatever you want to. It's your prize. We're not, this is crypto, man. It's your stuff. Do what you want. But we'll send you enough cash to buy a time warden. If, however, you are a winner and you are a holder, you have the holder role, I'll send you a hot sauce too.
Yeah. And guys, just to put it in perspective. Yeah, you can take the $40 in crypto. Yeah, that's all great. Or you could get the time warden, wait 4 months, get the cold hard cash, and keep the time warden. Wah, bam. See, ROI is real. And
What
that
do you mean ROI? There's no I. Like it's
yeah,
immediate. It's immediate profit. Like
that's a good point too, JC. That's a good point. Guys, it doesn't matter what you do with it, do what you want with it, but we really are going to be getting back into this ecosystem pretty heavily. We do believe that Big Time is going to be one of the winners in this next cycle when all these new games start coming out, and the ones that have been here are still going to be building and doing things. Those are because at the end of the day, people invest in Bitcoin because it's the safest, it's been around the longest, it's tried and true. So as we go into the next cycle and move on the next few years, there's going to be a lot of new games coming out that are trying to do the same thing. But to me,
they're
I always
behind.
feel
They're
safer. Yeah,
behind.
they are, and I always feel safer investing in things that have a track record and have shown me in the past that they A, care about the community feedback, B, that they have profitable ecosystems, and that it's a fun game. And to me, Big Time is one of those projects that kind of checks all those boxes.
Yeah,
And
gotta agree.
again, guys, we're gonna have round 2 already, bloodbath. But we are gonna be doing a lot of different events for Big Time, guys. I know Big Yield said that they have their event on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We
I
have
think
our
it goes
event.
for like 6 hours, so jump in.
Yeah. They usually hang out there for a few hours. You're right. They play a couple games. Whether the other streamers, because we have an international guild, a lot of them are overseas. They are playing those other games. So that's a good point. They're sometimes playing World of Shards, Boss Fighters, and Big Time. So 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours is what we're trying to do. So great point.
Definitely, if you've got, we've put the link to the VIG Discord in this chat multiple times. It's also in our Discord partners links, and we'll make sure it's refreshed and up to date. But yeah, just there's a new. Oh, that's our game night. That's our event.
Hey JC,
No,
if
I know.
can
I'm
jump
sharing
in.
it for the new people just so they can
Yeah.
for next week, just so they can so
If I can
they
jump
remember.
in, dude,
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a rare hourglass with I think 63 hours on it that I'd be willing to rent at $10 if somebody wanted to take advantage of that as a prize. Obviously it would be a $10 investment, but it's 63 hours charged rare
Ooh.
hourglass.
We
So
can definitely. You know what? I guess we'll have to do another rumble for that.
yeah,
Oh,
it's 3,815 minutes. And anybody that's played Big Time, I know the charges aren't cheap.
that's
but
a
it
lot of
costs-
time. Time is money.
Rare, guys. It's a blue. For those of you that don't know the terminology, it's a blue one. It's the third level of rarity, and it gives you what's that? Is it 100 and something luck points? It increases your
good
chance
point.
of looting either big time tokens or NFTs, or it just increases your loot drop rate. And the blue ones, like if you wanted to buy one, you're looking at a couple $100. If you want to buy one with 60 hours of time on it, you're looking at $500, $600, $700, something like that.
Yeah, the charges is probably the most valuable right now.
Wait,
The market's down,
who
but
won
the
that?
charge. What's
Peace.
that?
I'm sorry. So Peace
Oh,
Man,
sorry.
congratulations. That we will send you. Peace. I don't know this name either. Is this a new win? New win? New winner?
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, so Peace Man, we will be sending you $40 worth of crypto, with which you may do what you want. We're giving away that amount because that's what it costs to get a common time warden, but it's your money. You need it now. Call JG Wentworth.
That is burned into my brain forever, dude. Such a great commercial. Their marketing team knew what they were doing.
Yes, we will do one more round because Yield. See, this is why we have guests. You just never know. You should show up when we have guests because they're like, hey, I've got something to give away too.
That's right.
So if you win this round, you will have the option of taking Yield up on his offer of a rare hourglass rental, which I mean the rental for a rare hourglass with that much time is ridiculous, for $10. And if you win it, Alpha Origins will send you $10 to rent it.
And I'll give it to you for 30 days, so you don't have to worry about speed rushing it. You can take your time.
Yeah, good luck
absolutely.
getting 60 hours in 7 days.
Yeah.
Last Rumble, guys, Jurassic era. Nice.
Yeah. And listen, Big Yield, I really appreciate not only you coming to join us, but the community is just awesome. Like, the your players and everything. Like, it's really I really look forward to kind of getting into some parties together and grinding some dungeons because you guys definitely like you said earlier, I feel like we kind of align very nicely with what we're trying to do here and what we're doing with the communities and really we're just here to play some fun games and make some money, guys. Like that's what it's about. And we love meeting other people in the space that are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, and PvP has 3 teams, so you can actually get upwards of 18 people in one dungeon. And it's really unique. So that's a fun time where we could set up some friendly contests that people can play the game and earn these rewards, right? Like if you can do silly stuff like hide and seek, right? Try to find somebody, winners of the contest. But that's where we can definitely, I think, hopefully is your community and ours get more engaged and hopefully prices come back. I love that macro market report. We can all start having fun and making some money. So that's where we're kind of already invested in the game. And, we definitely want to not only help our own guild members, but we have excess inventory in some cases, even beyond our own guild members, that we'd love to help you guys out too.
Guys, man, Yield, we are super appreciative. And yeah, it's thank you so much for jumping in here and hanging out with us and dropping us some information. It's great to talk to you again. I haven't talked to you in a minute. It's probably been a year since I've played with you guys, but that's just because it's been that type of market. And big time up until maybe probably a month ago, my big time gameplay was log in, check my cracked hourglasses, log out.
Yeah.
That was it. And in the last month or so, we've kind of ramped back up because part of it is other games have just flopped and they just haven't been fun to play. And big time is fun to play. I did play a little bit when they revamped their tutorial and they added the new starting area, which by the way the artwork is still fabulous, guys. It's a lot of fun. And they've added some story, which I think is the depth that needs to get started. There's such a potential for rich lore with the idea of big time, as you think about it in the terms of like big oil or big tech. Well, this is big time. There's a great story there if they can just flesh it out. And I know they're tinkering with the economy all the time and with the token burns and with the token rewards and all this stuff. And I get it, and it's still so early. And Reptar hammers this week after week after week. Games take decades to build. Gaming studios take decades to build. Games take 5, 6, 7, 10 years. And this game is only 4 years into development and is making people money.
I can just read you my last transaction. Rented out Time Warden, sold Boss Fighter Proxy Token, sold Boss Fighter Token, rented out Exalted Time Warden, rented out Time Warden. This is all April 9th, April 7th, April 7th, April 7th, April 7th, April 6th. This is recent. It's still active. Supposedly the macro market's melting down and big time's still sustainable if you're in the right areas. And that's why we created Dash Loot. I'll just leave that there because
Dash Loot is gold, guys. Dash Loot as a mechanism is fabulous.
Yeah, we want gamers to be profitable, and the tools we've created help hopefully get you in the right areas of the game. The games are complex, especially big time. Sometimes I don't even know there's a profitable strategy going on. People were selling hourglasses. Just because I was in voice chat, and that's where you learn most of it. Somebody told me and I instantly sold. I was like, wow, I didn't even know that was happening. And so that's why Dash Loot's there. It allows you to monitor whether it's recharges, selling, crafting, time wardens, a lot of ways you can make money. And this tool, I think, is really, it allows you to go there, see the best prices and sort features.
All right.
We
So
we
yield.
think it's better than Open
So Death Party, I'm gonna. We'll send you the $10. Contact Yield. Death Party is the guy who just won that.
Okay, perfect. Let me see here. Can you send me a friend request real quick?
Yeah. So at Death Party, send a friend request to at Big Yield, so he can work out the details. Look, no obligation here, Death Party. If you don't want to rent the thing to make money in Big Time, totally cool. We'll still send you the $10 if you want to do it. But
likewise, and I would do that for free if I could. It's just
there's no way to do that
system
in the game.
Yeah, I'd hand this out for free in a second. It's just the limitation of the platform. So
yeah, don't worry there, Ron. We're not looking to talk politics other than the fact that these global politicians of all nations, including the United States, are playing whale games, and we're just a bunch of little shrimp that have absolutely no say and just are along for the ride.
Oh yeah. Well, DJ, yes, awesome. Got that. DJ, any parting words for the people before we all check Coinbase a million times before we go to bed? Any words of solace for anyone, DJ? Nope. It's all blood in the streets. All right, guys. It's all over. You heard it.
Sell everything. Just go back to your 80 hours a week because it's all over. We're all gonna just crypto's done. Nobody's gonna make any more money ever.
Yes, and guys, if you missed out on some of the games, if you got here late, no worries. We do this every week, and we will be doing a big time event tomorrow where we're gonna go in, we're gonna play big time together as a group, and who knows, there may be
some of us may be playing in the next 5 minutes after we leave here. But let's say a thank you to those if you're watching on the live stream or if you're watching on the replay. Thanks for joining us. Again, a big shout out to Big Yield. If you are watching and you're not in our Discord, jump in our Discord. All of the links are here. They are official links, so you're not getting something suspicious. And if you're just watching on a replay or you're watching a live stream, you can't win anything unless you're in the Discord. So while we appreciate you watching, perhaps if you wanted to actually win some money, you could be in the Discord. And as always, our disclaimer, don't be a moron.